We also have an incredible time to display a convo that we had yesterday with a friend of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is the head coach of the football team at Nebraska. Ladies and gentlemen, the face of the Cornhuskers, Matt Rhule. How are you, Coach? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Okay, Big Ten Media Days are happening this week. We knew that. We obviously knew that. We planned this in advance, months and months ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Thank you for making this happen. Stop by the Thunderdome. We are massive fans of yours. As you know, we appreciate the hell out of this.
I appreciate you doing this. When I was sitting at my dinner table having dinner and I got the Pat McAfee FaceTime, I said, everyone stop.
I am a cold FaceTimer. That is kind of my MO. Because the way my brain works, it's like we're on this thing right now, and then there's a chance we're going to be on something completely different 10 minutes later. So we got to get answers right now. So as soon as I learned that the Big Ten Media Day was happening, I was like, who do we know that's going to be here? I literally FaceTimed you. I was like, hey, will you stop by? You said yes, which is why. Hey, we appreciate you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach.
Let's talk about the Big Ten Media Day. So what is this? So you come into town, you'll be at Lucas Oil Stadium. You're talking to every media company, and then what is it? Just same questions? How do you feel? What does the team look like? All that type of stuff. Is that what this week is all about here in Indy?
Yeah, it's like twofold. It's like I'll have some time where I'm up on the mic talking to everybody. I'll have some time ESPN, Fox, CBS, NBC. But then there's also that they take in the back and they do the stuff, the promos, like what's your favorite Halloween candy, So
you're spinning a football slow motion.
Yeah.
You're doing that entire
You're doing a little bit of that stuff, but yeah, you get a chance. I got 3 of my guys here, so we'll go to dinner at St. Elmo's. We'll go out there tomorrow with 5 other temes. Kind of give them a quick look over, like how you doing, and then get back to the media.
Okay, so who are the 3 guys? You got the quarterback?
No, I got. I always bring seniors. I think the guys who've been through the program and battled. So I've got Ty Robinson, our D tackle. We got Isaac Gifford, our free safety, and I got Ben Scott, who's our center. So three great guys for us.
I like the fact that you got to earn it. Okay, if you're going to represent our program, you got to be at least mature. And obviously, the quarterback position is going to be something somebody's going to ask about. And I can't wait to hear your answer. But I would like to talk about the team as a whole right now. We're not ranked, right?
Not ranked.
We love that or hate that?
We love that.
Okay, we do love that. We enjoy that. Because your history in college football, obviously, Carolina Panthers are what they are. But as soon as you got back into college football, we got very excited because your track record says, okay, once Matt Rhule gets with the program, he's going to build it and build it the right way and going to play great football. Did it at Baylor, did it at Temple, Nebraska with all the, I want to say everything available. Nebraska is a first-class operation, obviously a lot of championships. You got to feel good with where the development of the team is. How do you feel about the process of you building a college football team like you have in a
well, first of all, I love building college football teams and being a part of it. And I feel great about where we are, honestly. I think we have a chance to be a pretty good team. And we were a great defense last year. We were top 15 in every category. And we really struggled offensively. And so I think we're better. I think the guys grew from it. So, man, I love where we're at. I kind of, as you said, I kind of like being able to sneak up on people and be the team that no one's really sure about. So you don't have that very long. Once you've established yourself, everybody's gunning for you. But for right now, we'll hide in the radar.
Year 2 of Matt Rhule programs take a step. Year 3 is where I think the magic really starts coming if we look back on your track record through this entire thing. Ahead of schedule as compared to other places, or where would you judge yourself?
Yeah, way ahead of schedule. The buy-in from the players when I first got to Nebraska was really cool. And I just said to them, I said, look, my first year at Temple was 2-10. My first year at Baylor was 1-11. Let's just jump to year 2. Let's skip all the. And I'm a little older now, right? I was a hard charging. I'm a little older now, a little more mature. I was like, hey, listen, I'll tell you why we're doing things, but if you'll just buy into it. And so we finished 5-7. We had 5 losses by 3 points or less, and so it was brutal. But to those guys' credit, man, they just kept coming back, and so. Maybe we'll be a year 2 team. Maybe we'll be hey, make a couple steps. But I'd love to make a jump. I'd love to be a real good team.
12-team playoff, obviously, we've chit-chatted about since the announcement. Kirk Herbstreit looks so good with this.
Oh, man.
He's got his eyes are popping.
Mm-hmm.
He's got this tailored suit. He's real thin now.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't he? He's super.
Oh, yeah. Almost jocked.
Yeah, he's jocked almost. He's talking about the 12-team playoff. Obviously, that changes everything for everybody. I mean, there's been a couple projections. I think Liberty sneaking in there because it's the highest-rated non-Power 5 champion and everything like that. Big Ten is obviously going to be a conference where you can slip up a little bit and still make it with the way the future of football looks. How happy are you to be in the Big Ten? How happy are you to be at Nebraska? And what are your thoughts on the 12-team playoff? And do you talk about it with your team?
Yeah, I talk about it this time of year. I mean, I think when you're sitting out there and you're running in 110-degree weather, you better be reminded of why we're doing this. Like, we want to we want to go play for the ultimate game. And it would be irresponsible of me to walk every day past 5 national championship trophies and not talk about winning championships. Like, it's been proven you can do it there. So, that doesn't mean once the season starts, man, we'll get very focused on each day. But I think right now we need to talk about, hey, guys, this is what we need to do. We need to win each day, win each game, and put ourselves in position to go play for it. So I'm grateful to be in the Big Ten because you're going to have more access. You're playing the best teams. I mean, if a year ago you would have said to me, like, hey, Matt, we're going to have you play USC and Oregon as your 2 non-conference games, I'd have fought somebody. Well, now, we're in the league now, right? And we play 9 conference games. Not every conference does that. And so you have 5 road conference games every year. It's a difficult league. And so I think if you can be in the mix in the Big Ten, you have a chance to get into the playoff. And then once you get into the playoff, it's about who's healthy, who's got the most depth. Weather's going to play a factor. Like, there's going to be home playoff games in the first round. So, I mean, I'd love for someone to come to Lincoln and play in December. That'd be a lot of fun.
That's a dream, I think, for every school, including University of Iowa. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, not quite the same. We went to Lincoln in November last year and won, but that's neither here
What's
nor
that
there.
all about, Coach?
They won.
What, they get 3 first downs that game? I mean, how is that even?
It was a cagey affair. It was a 13-10 final. Like,
Torrey Taylor win that thing?
He was a big part. Yeah, big part. Quarterback, obviously, that was part of it too. And I've said time and time again, I hate that you're the head coach at Nebraska now because I know that, hey, you can't just rest. Listen, I was going to win the Heroes game the day after Thanksgiving. That might not be the case anymore. But you kind of mentioned it, going under the radar and being unranked. Do you think, is a large part of that all the hullabaloo that's coming with USC and Oregon and Washington and these other teams coming to the Big Ten? And is part of you thinking, like, this Nebraska team is totally different as well because you're starting to finally get your guys in there. It's not the Scott Frost era. It's not any of these teams before. Like, is that a big part of it too? Is like, yeah, we have these new teams from the Pac-12 coming into the Big Ten, but this Nebraska team is also going to be kind of a new iteration of Nebraska that a lot of these Big Ten teams haven't seen.
Yeah, I think whether it's rankings, whether it's guys on the All-Conference team, All-American team, I've always believed, man, like, you eat what you kill. Like, if you want recognition, then you've got to go do it. So, like the talking season is like, it's for the people, it's for the guys who won last year. Oregon comes into the league and they're a top team in the country because they've earned it on the field. Washington played the national championship game. USC won 11 games 2 years ago, so people should talk about them. We haven't been to a bowl game in 8 years, and so as much as I want to be in the national picture, we also have to play a 13th game. Mm-hmm. And so I have no problem. Like, I believe in humble confidence. I learned that from Tom Coughlin. Like, I would love to just keep our guys right there. But that doesn't mean that we don't have confidence. And that doesn't mean that we don't expect to be a really good team. And I think people that are recruiting against us and preparing for us, I think they think we're going to be a good team too.
Oh, you think they know? They think. Well, I think it's because of you. I think people just respect what you have been able to build in college and the way you've gone about doing things in college ball. But you just talked about the Giants. Like, you're an NFL guy, though, right? Did you start as an NFL coach? Is that accurate?
No, I was in college for a long time. I went to the NFL with the New York Giants under Coach Coughlin. Then I had a chance. I would have stayed there. I loved working for the Giants. I loved working for Coach Coughlin, but I had a chance to be a head coach. And actually, like, leaving the Giants wasn't a no-brainer to go be the head coach at Temple. But I've had to bet on me. And
do you think you run a more pro-style operation in college, or how do you think you? And is there a big difference? Do people make a hullabaloo about what a word? Yep. What a word! That's Iowa, by the way. He was accepted to Harvard, though. Brain was good enough to get into Harvard. Said, "I want to stay at Iowa." Wanted to be an angler.
That's right.
At the University of Iowa. But do you think there's too much made about college and NFL and the styles in which you go about doing things, or is it two different animals?
No, I think too much is made. I mean, I think, if you watch the Kansas City Chiefs play, you're watching a lot of cool things that you see on college football in terms of the style. The differences are, we have, 105 guys on the roster. We have 85 scholarships, so you can play tempo. You don't have to. 53-man roster. You try to play tempo, and the guys are worn down after 4 or 5 games. So it's just a whole different game in that regard. But I think the plays, the RPOs, the things you see.
Coaching, though. Coaching humans.
Oh, well, I loved coaching NFL players. I think if you can make it to the NFL, as you know, you're the best of the best. I think the differences are in the off-the-field stuff, right? Like, the day was over, you went home, your coach went home. Here I'm like, hey, make sure you go to study hall tonight and please make good decisions this weekend. And I'm also recruiting 24/7. The player procurement process is different. Like in the NFL, like you're a head coach, you're hoping you sign one free agent, you're hoping you draft the right guy. We're all seeing the Hard Knock show with the Giants right now. Like you think you're getting a guy, and all of a sudden you don't get us. We go recruit. We can try to outwork people. Now with NIL, it's a little bit different. Some teams can outbid people. So you can get, in college football, you can have multiple number one overall picks. Like Georgia has a bunch of number one picks on their team. So you can have a better roster, so there's less parity. But I think people are people, and just the NFL guys are the highest form of great athletes.
You talk about recruiting and signing free agent, number one quarterback comes to Nebraska and Dylan Raiola. Mm-hmm. And I saw the spring game and some clips. Guy can spin it, seemingly has moxie. He's going to be your guy, is what it sounds like. And are we excited about having a freshman quarterback? That's a lot of pressure, is it not?
Well, what I'll say is Dylan's done everything right since he's been there. And this isn't just coach speaking. I think again, if you truly believe that like you eat what you kill, like Dylan, he's competing with a guy last year that went 5-3 as a starting quarterback. That's runs 4.5, that, got thrust into action last year. Now he's had another year. So my job is to get as many good guys as possible. We signed Danny Kalen, who's another Elite 11 quarterback. So I want those guys to compete. I mean, I want to find out, honestly, at every position, it sounds like I want to find out who, when they don't feel good in the middle of camp, still shows up. I want to find out who, when they get sent down to get the 3 reps that day, who pouts and who goes out and competes. And so I know our 3 guys are going to do that. But what I'll say about Dylan is, since he's been there, he's done everything right. Because, you get a highly recruited kid, but he comes from a great family. His dad played 14 years in the league, right, and was an O-lineman. So the concept of being selfless, of understanding the game like Dylan has, it's coursing through his veins. So he's not just a quarterback. He's a football player who plays quarterback. And I think the guys respect him. So I think we're going to have great competition. And, if you want to play 16 games, if you want to go play for those trophies, probably going to play 2 at some point.
Yeah.
Think of how many times NFL teams have had a backup come in and keep them alive for 3 or 4 games. So
last year there was actually, I think, 90 backup quarterbacks or something like that that played around the NFL or something.
And you saw the Hard Knocks. You see them talking about the money they want to pay a backup. Like, they're arguing about whether they should play Saquon Barkley 10 or 11 million, but backup quarterbacks who might not play are making 7, 8, 9, 10. So the position is so important. Let's get as many of them as we can.
Yeah, and it's a long season, as our coaches up here on the stage will tell you, because they've already played a season with the 12 playoff games. Coach Dutch Danger actually has a question.
Yeah, actually, I played a few, and let me just say, not to the chagrin of you, but boy, I beat the brakes off Nebraska in the college football playoff.
He's a Utah Utes, obviously.
Yeah. Coach Dutch Danger's been at Utah for quite some time now. We're going into year 5 now. We got 4.
That's him right there, Coach. Yeah. That's what everybody's trying to do.
There we are. That's what we're all doing. Right there. Yeah, get you one of those, Coach. But no, one of the biggest things in this game is recruiting, and I don't think that any of us really knew going into it how much. Obviously, the video game, of course, what that is, but it just in general how much you have to do. One of the things is you're looking at social medias, then you're contacting the family. Sometimes you got to send the house, and that takes 50 hours.
Sometimes you get locked out.
Sometimes you get locked out. Yeah, you don't make it into those top 3 schools that the kids kind of get down to. For you though, when it does come to recruiting, how much are you going into social media, going in, calling families, and not just, the kids, but reaching out to the mom, reaching out to the dad, seeing what they have to say about their son? And how hard is it to kind of pick through the bullshit? Because obviously, when you're reaching out to families, they're going to put over their son more than anything. But how often does, the other things like the social medias not reflect what, you're hearing from their coaches or things of that nature? How hard is that? And then how much are you kind of divvying up between portal and also high school? Because that's something I'm trying to kind of
Coach Dutch Danger's trying to manage.
Coach Danger's trying to kind of figure out if you need to spend a couple more hours in the portal versus, these high school boys.
Oh, my God. I need to start playing the game more.
This guy's won back-to-back national champions.
Yeah. I'm in year 2027, so I'm a little ahead of the 8 ball when it comes to your recruiting.
It's an honor. I had no idea what I was getting into.
No, you didn't know who you were in the presence of.
That's right.
I was my son's been downstairs for 3 days, and I haven't heard from him. And
he's recruiting. He's recruiting.
He likes building programs just like his poppy.
I'm glad. The thing about it, I haven't played the game, but the thing of it is, you can sit in someone's house for 50 hours and do all this work and then not get them.
Yeah.
At the very last minute. So It's high stakes. All the things you're talking about is what we do, though. And like even the era of like tech, like there was a while where it was texting, but like texting's not real anymore. Kids are getting 5,000 texts if they're a good recruit. So it's being on the phone, it's FaceTimes, it's calls. I mean, even in season, over an hour of my day is spent on the phone with families and with kids, and because that's the lifeblood of the program. So it's all real. It's all. I think all of us, whether you're in the NFL getting free agents or drafting people, you saw that in the Hard Knocks show. Well, it's us. You're trying to figure out who the person is going to be in the program. Like, do they love football? Are they going to be able to handle adversity? Are they going to be a part of the team? So you're trying to balance like elite talent with elite character and elite football character. So it's a just think about. I don't know what it's like for you, like hiring people and the people you guys work with.
I don't hire people. I hate it.
So you guys
been around a long time.
Yeah, we just came and we never left.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. So we have hired, and it is certainly a thing.
Right.
I hate it. I'm very worried that what we have. I would like to bottle what we have and just hang on to it for as long as we possibly can, as opposed to mass expansion and let it just all get fucked up.
Right.
So like that is something you have to bring on more players. I don't know how you sort through like how do we keep what we have or how do we build what we have without the worry of like somebody coming in and ruining it all, which can happen in human instinct. It's possible.
So often for people who follow recruiting, it's about who you don't get. Like, oh my gosh, we didn't get. I'm always so like I'm concerned about who we do get. Like when I find someone, whether it's someone I hire or whether it's a player that comes from like the right family, like that's got the right hunger, that's got the right edge and toughness. Like I need guys who like, I don't need everyone on my team doesn't have to be a superstar I need guys who are like grimy and gritty and tough and are willing to fight for
Talking
what
about
they
Team
want.
USA right now with the Olympics, the basketball team.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out who are the people that are like the glue. You need the glue. You need to find the glue. How do you recruit the glue? You just ask.
You ever see the Kobe Bryant deal when they talk about they're on Team USA and I forget who ran through Paul Gasol. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna run through space."
Yeah.
Like I need guys on my team to quote Marshawn Lynch without the cuss words who are going to run through somebody's face.
Yes.
Like I need those guys, and that doesn't always show up in recruiting. So to me, recruiting is about finding the guys who are going to be right for you, and who are going to fit for you. And you know what? Some teams are first or second in the recruiting rankings every year. Like to me, it's just about who is going to come there, who's going to thrive in your culture.
Exactly, my program.
Who's going to do what
Coach
you want.
Dutch Dangerous.
And that's what's hard about the portal, right? Because the portal, like, there's no 6-month recruiting period, man. It's like they hit the portal, you got about a week to decide are they right for you or not. And so, it took me a long time to ask Julie to marry me, and she's the best thing that ever happened to me. So asking a guy to come play for me after a week of knowing him was really hard. So.
Are you a big transfer portal guy? I don't think you are, right?
Not much, no.
You will if you need a piece. I see.
Yeah. I just feel like if you come to play for me and you had a bunch of options and you decided to come play for University of Nebraska and you're in the program, then you shouldn't have to all of a sudden be like your junior year. Some guy comes in, he plays ahead of you just because he got more NIL money. Like, to me, if there's a hole there, we go get somebody. So we'll always look to improve our team. But I just don't feel the need to. Sometimes as coaches, like, they'll look at their team and say, well, I know what's wrong with him. They're always trying to improve it. Well, how about you just coach your own guys? And how about you just develop your own guys? And I think when you look at the teams that are winning at the highest levels, they have some portal guys, but they recruit at a really high level.
How do you feel about you being a perfect fit for Nebraska? Is that how you feel? I know you haven't been there long, but I feel like, and have I been in Nebraska? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever stepped foot in the state of Nebraska.
They're crazy. Oh, College World Series?
Yeah, I've never been. I've heard.
Been invited.
Have you guys been to College World Series?
Yes.
No, we're going next year. Rocco's, the whole thing.
Yes.
I get it. You guys are buying jelly
Incredible.
shots. I get it. I've heard it's awesome. People have sang Nebraska's praises for sports fans in the women's volleyball thing. Like,
Amazing.
That was nuts.
Amazing. Like, it sounds awesome. But the way you talk and the way you describe what type of team you have, I assume that people in Nebraska respect it because they're high football IQ fan base out there in Nebraska.
Yeah, no doubt. They're football people. Like I was in Texas at a coach's clinic, and I saw a guy who's Nebraska alum, and he said, "Hey, can I put you on the phone with someone?" He put me on the phone with his 84-year-old mother in Lexington, Nebraska, and I'm talking to her on like the house phone, and she's like, "I watch every press conference, Coach. Keep doing what you're doing." Like, that's real.
Yes.
That doesn't happen everywhere. It's just, we don't have a pro team. This is the pro team. They're out there from the beginning of warm-ups to the end of the game, and at the end of the day, you said something very nice earlier, like, well, people are thinking Nebraska's be good because of me. I don't know that it's that. I think they see what it has been, and if you can get it on track, we have the facilities, we have the fan base. In this new Big Ten, we're in the middle of the country, so we're not going to have to travel East Coast to West Coast. We'll have manageable travel. We're good at a lot of sports. We won 5 Big Ten championships this year. We got 7 or 9 kids in the Olympics. Like, we have athletic excellence. If football gets itself together, we should be a powerhouse because we've been a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And so I looked at it like, man, like I went to Temple. I loved it. I loved Temple. But I was trying to do something there that had never been done. I went to Baylor, and Coach Briles had a lot of success and all that, but I was still trying to get it to a place that hadn't been. I walk by 5 natties every day.
Yeah, they're telling you.
That's right.
Hey, you need to get to. Yeah. Hey, welcome to stay. You've done good. Yeah, we're proud of you. Very proud of you. D-But's got a question.
Yeah, the legacy is there. The tradition is there. Black shirts, obviously know about that. What went into hiring your new secondary coach, Butler? Been around the game, obviously, for a long time. Coming from the pro game as well. Did great things in Buffalo with the Bills.
Who's this?
John Butler, new secondary coach. I mean, I could just already know he's a great defensive mind with the last name. But what went into Coach Butler and hiring him?
Yeah, I've known John a long time. Kind of got in the business at the same time. And, lost our secondary coach this time of year. Those things usually don't happen.
Yep.
So, but I had a chance to coach against him even in the NFL. Like, I went up, played against the Buffalo Bills, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. Like, you talk about recruiting. When you come to Nebraska and you're like, well, I want to go to the league. And, well, all the coaches either coached or played in the league. And our DB coach just coached the top 5 passing defense in the league 5 years in a row. Like, okay, they're going to help me get to where I want to get, because just as much as guys want NIL, I want them to want the NFL too. And so putting guys there like John that are great teachers that have been at that level, has been the defensive coordinator at Penn State. I know this. I'm a much better head coach when I have great players and great coaches. And so John was kind of sitting out. We've known each other a long time. I had an opening. Man, I'm blessed that he took it.
Yeah, bring him to Nebraska. Anytime you get more experience in there, it's good for recruiting, too. This guy's been there. You can sell the entire NFL thing. A guy who wrote a full college football preview has a question for you from Hammer Dahn. Tone Diggs.
Yeah, I did, Coach. And one of the big things was studying your schedule when I was doing that preview. And one thing I noticed, I got you. Now, you don't have to comment on this. I have you favored in your first 7 games of the season. Now, but those first 4 games are at home. You talked about how good the defense was last year and how the offense, needs to make some improvements. How big is it, whether it's Riola or another quarterback, how big is those first 4 games being at home to kind of get their feet wet and that offense to kind of get clicking before you get into that back half of the schedule?
And shout out to the AD.
Yeah.
4 straight.
Smart man.
That's a big play.
Well, it's the first time, I think, since Keith's back there, since 2019, that we haven't been 1-0 at Nebraska since 2019.
Man.
And I think we started with a road or a conference opponent, in most years. So it's a little different schedule this year with being at home and all that. I'll be honest with you, I love it. Like, the pro game, being on the road and being home, not quite as much. Like, I didn't do a great job last year. We went to Minnesota. It was the first game of the year. It's a gold out. They're all wearing gold. It's a sellout. Like, the crowd noise. I mean, it was
And they're rowing that boat right in your face.
That's exactly
right.
right.
In your face.
PJ's got that thing.
You had no idea.
Yeah.
You're coming out of the NFL. You're down there in Baylor. You had no clue that there was actual boats coming right
There's
into
no doubt.
your face, and they were all rowing.
That's right.
Early, especially.
And come crunch time, they beat us, And then we went out to Colorado this next week, and Coach Sanders coming off obviously beating TCU, and I mean it's a sellout. So we started last season on the road. Our first 2 games is together, like trying to figure out how to travel. Here's what I expect from you, and we're on the road versus sellout crowds. And when you're at Nebraska, you have to expect this. But to start at home, then I don't have to worry about the crowd noise. Be able to get down inside the 5 and have everybody calm down. I mean, again, we lost by 3 points. We threw an interception right before the half in their end zone. Maybe if we're at home, it's a little quieter. We have a little bit better connection.
Yeah, of course.
All these little things matter. So I'm fired up about being at home to start.
You got Colorado week 2, I think. They're coming off of North Dakota State. And literally the last time you were on the show, you said the first thing you said to the AD is, I don't want any names with Dakota in it for our auto conference schedule or anything. Colorado, though, obviously wagon. Everybody's talking about this is the year. Shador, obviously, he's top 5 pick in everybody's eyes.
Yep.
Heisman and Travis Hunter, obviously phenomenal player. They got Warren Sapp coaching over there now. They got that. How much are you looking ahead to scout all the teams on your schedule versus first? Like, how do you handle and manage all that? And what do you expect out of that Colorado game?
Yeah, we spend, literally from the offseason, we spend a week on each team so that, like we play Purdue, again, from last year, play Illinois, we go back, we go through everything we did, look at them, we study them. Obviously, teams like Iowa that we're going to play every year, that we study them, especially, it's year 2 for us in the league. And then you go back to the beginning of the year, and some staffs are new, like UTEP's a whole new staff, right? So We're watching their defense from Austin Peay, watching the offensive coordinator come from La Tech. Colorado has two new coordinators, so that's a little bit of a challenge. So, they're playing against North Dakota State the first game. We'll have some time to see that game. But, we prepare for all of them. I think the thing with Colorado is, again, Shedeur is such a great player. Travis Hunter, there's no real game planning that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you game plan against a shutdown corner? I don't know. You try to win and do the best you can and go play and compete. And, again, it goes back to what I said, man. Like, eat what you kill. Like, if you want to win, go win. And so I'm so excited for that game, just for the game of football. I'm a Northeast guy. I grew up, Pennsylvania, New York City. Like I want college football to be in all 50 states. And I don't want it just to be only in the SEC and only here in the Midwest. I love that we got like a little old school Big 8, Big 12, Colorado playing Nebraska. I love the fact that they're, Washington went to the national championship. I think it's just good for football. And so this game, national TV, NBC, I know everyone's going to tune in to see Shedeur and Travis and Coach Sanders. And, we'll show up too and see what we can do.
I think college football would be loved in every town if they understood and got to experience what Nebraska sounds like every single game, what a lot of the teams down the South that we get to go to. Iowa is obviously absurd. Ohio State in the North represented. Like, there's Michigan, you get it. But then there's some schools that it's just not. It's just not the experience that people have in other places. College football is beautiful. College football is awesome. It's been an honor to learn about it the last couple of years and get baptized literally in the middle of it with game day and everything. The future, though, everybody's worried as shit. Everybody's scared to death about the future, especially old school college football people. They're like, well, we can't ruin this. I want my Saturdays to look like Saturday, and then Sundays can look like Sunday. And that is it. You're, at this stage, old school college football guy now. Been around. A lot of these older college football coaches kind of, I don't want to say negative about the future, but seemingly anonymous sources are coming out from one tenured college mind that doesn't love the direction in which college football is headed. What is your view on it all? Do you get asked by people what you think should happen going forward and like the guardrails of shit that should happen? Like, how do you manage it all, and what are your thoughts on the future?
Well,
12-game playoff is awesome. It's
Yeah.
Incredible.
The more we think about it, the more excited I get about 12-game playoff. I don't have to play it, coach it, recruit it, none of that. But just as a fan, I'm pumped about it. But the future of college football, how do you feel about it, and do you get asked about it?
Well, I think college football is always going to be strong. I think it's, if we're being honest, I think it's probably the second most popular game besides the NFL.
Yeah.
So I think it'll always be strong. I think the thing I worry about is the the group of five and the FCS. Like, I coached in the MAC, it was awesome. Like, I'm telling you what, like going to Ohio U around Halloween and trying to play at Ohio University is an amazing experience. And so I don't want to lose those things, and sometimes we can be a little cynical about that, but I think there's a lot of guys playing football at Williams College or at Harvard or wherever that love it. So I just want to protect the overall game. But I think we're making some really good moves right now to save kind of, what's happening. I think the revenue sharing, at the end of the day, like if you have $20 million for your players,
Coach Scott Stanger, obviously.
Of course.
and you get $5 million for your players, he's probably going to win most of the time,
No matter what.
And so, so I think having some revenue sharing now, kind of bringing. I think Tony Petitti's are and I don't say things I don't mean. I've been around Commissioner Petitti now for a year, and I'm just blown away by how forward thinking he is, and I think that's what we need, right? Like, the NFL is the NFL because there is power in the commissioner's office. Like, if you try to cheat, the commissioner's office is going to step in and you're going to get hammered. And in college football, for 100 years, it's been marked by cheating. But make no mistake, the problems we have now are the same problems that were in college football 60 years ago. They just look different. It's still one of the greatest games. I think it's the greatest game. And, I have lots of opinions that no one really asked me that is going to actually implement. What I think?
What's the one thing?
Well, I think just pure transparency, man. It's like, hey, if I'm giving you $10,000 or $100,000, like, just like in the NFL salary cap, I want to make sure we all know what it is because, at the end of the day, you have a right to know. And what I don't like, the only thing I don't like is I love guys being able to transfer. I love guys being able to monetize their value. I hate seeing kids go to 3 or 4 schools because people are just paying them to leave for a worse. They're paying them to come be a backup. And what you're seeing now is what you saw this year. The underbelly is guys were brought in out of the transfer portal for the spring. And at the end of the spring, the coach was like, he's not good enough, and they're getting rid of him. See, everybody thinks the portal is the kids unhappy. A lot of times it's the coaches saying, hey, why don't you come here? Or, hey, I'll pay for you to come here. And at the end of the day, when they're all said and done, I want guys to make some money, but I also want them to have a degree. And I want them to have played. Like, it's okay to go play at a smaller school. It's okay to play at FCS or Division II or Group of 5 and play and have a good experience. So I just think there's some things in terms of transparency, knowing how much guys are getting paid. Rules
Should be reported. Be
Yeah.
reported, just like in the NFL. And it sucks as an NFL player that everybody on earth can Google exactly how much money you have. It's not good for players, their families, friends, everything like that. But for other teams, at least you know what the barometer is, what an expectation is. And also, if it's made public, have to pay that person too. Because there's a lot of players that are signing up for shit and then not getting it, right?
getting it.
Yeah, that is a massive
Not at
problem.
Nebraska.
Never in Nebraska.
Not in Nebraska.
Never as a Cornhusker. How do you feel about the state of football as a whole? Feels like we got more talent than ever. Do you agree?
Yeah, you talking about college football or pro football?
Just football as a whole. I was watching these flag championships.
Yeah, unreal.
And I saw a 15-year-old girl roll right, crossbody throwback, and then her wide receiver, one hand snag, foot in, and it's like, what? And then you're seeing these younger guys get into the NFL, make impacts immediate. Feels like football is in a very, very strong part right now.
Yeah, I'd say that years ago the influx of 7-on-7, like Texas has like high school 7-on-7, and all kids are throwing and catching the ball all year long, and that's why the passing game looks the way it looks right now. And, football's becoming an international game. We have international players now. People are playing it all over the world, and so I think from that standpoint, football's in a really we're doing this Saturday. We're doing our first ever girls flag 7-on-7 camp, because we know that it's going to be an Olympic sport, and we think it's going to be I actually think it's going to be a college sport at some point. And so we want to get ahead of that. I got 2 daughters at home. My daughter literally thinks that she's going to replace Jordan Love someday. I mean, she's a Packers fan.
Love it.
She's 9 years old, and she throws the ball every day. And so,
Hell yeah.
it's all good for I think football's in a great spot.
I got a daughter 14 months. I didn't even think about her potentially being a quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, but it's like at least the flag football development and scholarship opportunities.
Yeah. Playing in the Olympics someday. Just think about that.
Huge.
What if your daughter someday represents the United States playing football? That's amazing.
You see so many meathead dads cry. That opening ceremony.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Countless.
Just old offensive linemen, 2 busted ass knees, hips in there, and their daughter's just out there representing the United States of America. Just tear just running right down the face in this entire thing. It's a beautiful thing.
I love that.
Sports are awesome. Man.
Yep.
Sports are the greatest thing on earth. We need more of them. We need more guys like you too, Coach. You're awesome. Every time you come on and you're talking about transparency, you're just like wide open with everything. I feel like we could throw anything at you and you would give us like an honest answer, as opposed to like a car salesman bullshit. But you have to be a car salesman bullshit guy in the recruiting world, like Coach Dutch Danger.
Sometimes, yeah.
He lies to these kids all the time.
I mean, look, to Coach's point, we kind of have a similar philosophy. You want to come here, of course, I'm going to recruit you, but you got to compete. You got to earn your time.
Yeah, so let's talk about, you talk about the transfer portal and you want guys to play and everything like that. I want guys to still have to face adversity.
There's no doubt.
Like that, I think, is a big thing that's potentially going to go missing in the college football world, because the ability to just transfer, and if you're pretty good, you're going to get money to go somewhere else, but you're also never going to have to experience like hard times, brother.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be hard times where you're not the best. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to wake up earlier. You're going to have a coach that's going to tell you suck, like right now. Like that's going to have to, and it's better for their lives. We're not going to lose that, right? That's going to still happen.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to. That's why I think in my job and in your job, we have to find guys who are built like that. I mean, to go talk about Iowa, I see. I remember listening to George Kittle talking about the time it took for him to get on the field at Iowa, and just being like, those are the stories that matter to me. Like, we're talking about Hassan Reddick, obviously, making a lot of news in the NFL, multiple years. He was a walk-on for me. Like, he was a walk-on corner to safety to back. He didn't get on scholarship till his senior year. I remember he sat in his office with his mother. He's like, Coach, I can't pay for another year. And we got compliance to be able to put him on mid-year. Like, that's why I'm glad every cent he makes now, because he paid to go to college.
He's holding right now.
Yeah, well,
he's holding out right now.
Well, go get every cent. I don't feel so bad about him walking on and playing for free for us. But, so I just think at the end of the day, like, the gritty people in life are the ones who get things done. Barry Sanders sat behind Thurman Thomas. Like, there's great stuff. Think about Tom Brady. Like, he's the greatest quarterback in the history of the game, in my opinion. And think about I do this with quarterbacks when I recruit them. Like, most quarterbacks, you think about it, they kind of have like a journey. Like Aaron Rodgers, junior college to Cal. Like Drew Brees played at Purdue when Purdue wasn't great. Like, you have all these guys, Joe Burrow having to transfer and sit out. Jalen Hurts having to transfer. Like there is some adversity, and the ability to overcome adversity, keep showing up, to me is what makes great men great players.
Get knocked down 7 times, you stand up 8.
That's right.
Boom.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hey, we appreciate you, man. Have a great Big Ten Media Week day. You're here for
day.
how many days?
We're gonna we'll start tomorrow. We'll be here all day and leave tomorrow night.
All right. Well, enjoy yourself. Safe travels back. We appreciate you stopping by. And I can't wait to see the decision you make at quarterback, and I can't wait to see the development of your team. You know, you have seemingly been able to develop teams in players, and you've been incredibly cool to everybody along the way. Legitimately. Not an asshole. After that Carolina Panthers situation, you could have been scorched earth to everybody.
Yeah, you did.
Literally towards everybody. Media. I'm sure there's a lot of people that said things into microphones during those times where you could hold
I
grudges.
had my Lane Kiffin, Paul Feinbaum moment.
Yeah,
Matter of
there you
fact,
go.
There is one thing you said. I went, no, I'm
I was excited. How about when they cut away and just started showing buildings?
Yeah.
Smart.
All right, let's
Yeah.
not keep this on camera right now. It's getting uncomfortable.
You know what? You know what? You go through all these things in life, and you come out, and you just decide how you want to live your life, bro. And just the energy when you walk in here, man. It's just like it's an energy of kindness and of taking care of people. And I think right now in our world, we probably need people who are less bitter and a little bit more happy.
Hell yeah, we appreciate you, Coach. How about the shit he took though, and how long we had to wait for him?
But I respect. You guys told me he was going to talk a lot more Iowa trash towards me, and just nothing but respect for the man. So
Well,
thank
we
you.
try.
Likewise.
In the Thunderdome, we do try. We try our best to be respectful.
Yeah.
Some people we just can't do it.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
also a fellow college head coach as well. That's
a good point.
Understand the
We've been
grind.
talking a lot
Good
about
point.
Dutch Danger.
And I tell you what, I beat the hell out of everybody, but that day after Thanksgiving, it's always I'm fighting tooth and nail against Nebraska every year.
Who's your punter? Do you have a starter?
Yeah, Brian Buschini. Yeah, he wears his For the Brand shirt all the time. I got to yell at him to put on a Cornhusker gear. So
Oh, that's good. For the brand shirts.
the hell?
Okay. He's representing for the team. You know, he's
Yeah.
representing for the team.
you know what I love about him? Can I tell you what I love about him?
Sure.
You know, if you want to be the punter at Nebraska, you have to punt into sometimes 30 and 40 mile an hour winds. And he doesn't worry about, he understands that it's not about his average. It's about how he affects the game. Like, you know, he's not, the ball's on the 42-yard line. I asked him to pooch punt. He doesn't walk out there like, man, I'm not going to be the. Yeah, Brian walks out there and he's like, I'm going to put the ball inside the 5, help the he's a football guy. I love the guy.
That's awesome. How old is he?
He's got to be 24 now. He's working on his second master's degrees, or 23, 24, married. He's squared away.
America or Australia?
Oh, he's American. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I believe he's from Montana. I believe he's from the great state of Montana.
Wow. I didn't know we had Montana punters now. I knew
When
we
you
had
come to Nebraska at some point, we'll introduce you.
Nebraska.
I mean,
We're going out there. Yeah.
Game day atmosphere there is
We
incredible.
had game day at Temple.
Yep.
We had game day at Baylor.
I went into that fucking river.
That's right. I remember. You were talking before about getting baptized. I was like, I saw you get baptized. We actually had game day at Carolina because Georgia was playing like Clemson or something. So I went on the game day set at Carolina just because I was the head coach there. And so I look forward to having game day at Nebraska.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, we're excited to get there because I've seen and heard nothing but great things. And you're the man. Have an incredible stay here in Indianapolis. We're lucky to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Matt Rhule.
Yeah.